Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome back to my channel. Always happy to find you here. Upload on Mondays and Thursdays, and a short philosophical upload on Fridays to kick off our weekend. Welcome to any new subscribers. My pleasure to have you. Please stick around. Bring a friend with you next time. This is part two on my, well, this is actually going to be the talk that I wanted to give on the P. Diddy situation at current. And if you haven't seen part one, this is part two. If you haven't seen part one, I really encourage you to watch it first. Well, just go back my last upload and take a view of part one, where I gave a preface as to, just people kind of stay in their lanes and let truth and karma and all of that have its place, is what I was basically saying in that video. In this video, I'd want to just where we are right now in this situation with Diddy. And as I said in my last video, I hate even the image that I saw of, particularly of the, not of late, but of the image of him and his beating of Cassie Ventura just was just horrific. I can't even refer back to it anymore. It's just too awful. But having said that, here are some of my views on some things that have not been necessarily reported, but are definitely factual. And I haven't dove into the whole history and fact searching of it and researching and following, because one, I'm not that interested in the subject or him. But certainly it is worth noting, I'd say. His collapse, yes, yes. It's karma, yes. To me, it's karma, yes. But to me, it was infiltrated. And so let me tell you why. So that's what this talk is about. Let me tell you why I have these views. Um, So how best to approach? Okay, I'll follow lead right now. Diddy, as you know, have been the face of this, besides hip hop. Let's just talk about his contract and his alignment with the alcohol beverage, CIROC. He has been the face and the spokesperson of CIROC, and actually has been, I would say, the headhunter of the sales for that particular liquor. And when you think of Ciroc, you definitely see his face and think of his face. It had been ongoing in contract with them. The parent company of Ciroc is a company called Diageo, I believe, Diaego or something like that. In which, towards the end of his contract, they had what I would call a very difficult exchange in which P. Diddy sued them. Sued them, I believe, based on racism too, or some racist candor within their contract or treatment of him. And my understanding is he not only won that, but he got the best of them. And they are a I think, billion-dollar company. And Ciroc is just one of many main lines that they have. But it took a big hit for them. And it really peeved them quite a bit. I mean, it was major, my understanding. Like I said, you could probably research it. I'm not interested in researching it in detail, but the fact of the matter is there was some lawsuit in which he got the upper hand, I'd say. Diddy got the upper hand. Right soon thereafter came his public exposure of the things that we're seeing now. Because the issue with Cassie actually preceded this lawsuit. It preceded it in its happening. It preceded it in its reporting. And I believe, like they say, use the word allegedly or whatever. And allegedly before her lawyering up. But that was released right after the Diageo CIROC lawsuit with Diddy and his contract. Okay, so I'm talking about the timing and the coincidental leveraging Diageo was deriving. I'll put it that way. And I'm saying all this to say that, in a word, retaliation. In a word, retaliation. Because often when a lawsuit is so severe that it can really shake an earthquake within a company. The company is not going to just let you, they're not going to go down easy, I'll put it that way. And because Diddy was now this is just all of my looking at the facts and going, you can kind of tie this together. Because he was the image of the product, CIROC. CIROC's the product. He was the image. Within the contract is a protective clause of an image, which means regarding this product, your image now kind of belongs to us. So the image has to be presentable, the image has to be clean, the conduct of the person has to be, up to par. And so the only way that this is me talking, the only way that Diageo can kind of come back to secure CIROC's contract with Diddy, which they lost in a lawsuit due to the racism, is to destroy his image. Because now he violated his contract. You see. Now, I'm no fan of what he did, but I'm just saying. If he violated his contract, the lawsuit is nearly null and void. You see, is what I'm saying. So for all of this to come out in the way it's coming out, when you're that high up, high up, higher than those palm trees back there, you make calls, you can get your call answered. All of a sudden, the feds, you can have an investigator look into this, oh, we know that he's done this. I've gone to these parties. There's been these orgies. He's holding people. Some of them are younger. All of this is coming out, is what I'm saying. Now, was he wrong? Yes. Was it wrong? Yes. But is it common in the industry? Yes. All of this, in a word, it's retaliation. Not only do we not want to pay you this money and let you win this lawsuit, we need to destroy you so you can't. That's what retaliation is. When you look at the timing, not only did the issue with the video of Cassie come out, that was one thing, but right thereafter came the videos of the feds. And right thereafter came all of the claims women held against their will, and they're coming out. And then to be up into the echelons of that, you have done some dirty things probably yourself. Now, all the people that had something to say about you before are coming out. And so it's to damage the character more, to nullify the contract. And a nullified contract, you don't have to pay the lawsuit because the contract got nullified, is what I'm saying. So I just find it ironic. I find it coincidental. I'm not offering him a protective clause by any means because I think he's a dirty person for what he did. But I find it strong. It's sobering. Oh, put it that way. It's sobering. It's sobering to see the timing of all of this. And the associations will bring down everything. If you're willing to destroy everything and everyone for your own namesake, then are you not the devil incarnate yourself? To some degree, to some degree. So we have that, and we have what I'd say people who's had an issue with him. Now they have a horse by which they can mount. And any lawyer who didn't hear them before, who probably got paid more by not hearing him before, Diddy maybe paid them to make it go away because they have that money to make it go away. Now they're hearing you. Now, isn't that ironic? Isn't the timing ironic? Isn't the linking all pointing back to this one person? To some degree, is what I'm saying. Now, this reminds me of where there's I know there's a verse in the Bible that says pride cometh before the fall, and then there's some other, I believe, some philosophical quote that I read where it says all dark deeds will come to light or something like that. This to me is the introduction of karma for a person. And I'll give an example of one that I saw in tying this. As just an example, not even nearly close to the Diddy's thing is like huge, but just one from many, many years ago that it really grabbed my attention at the time. And I would say I was nowhere near as alert in my awareness as I am now. I was aware, but I was not as extremely alert to awareness as I am now. And it was the disturbance of Tiger Woods' marriage to his first wife, who he has children with, in which I can still see it. She went after him with his own golf clubs because he cheated. She went after him, running after him with his own golf clubs, and he ran out of the house, got in the car, and he ended up speeding through his private community and ran into a tree. And thank God he didn't hurt himself. But right thereafter, everything in his life began to crumble and crash. She insisted on a divorce. All these other women started coming out, one after another after another. I believe at one time it was a count of 19 women. And they were all upset because they all thought they were the only one other woman. Well, anyway, don't get me started on that. I need to do a whole video on you. You the other woman, you really think you're that special. Anyway, don't get me started. Don't. Side chick, please stop. Stop him. Anyway, I don't want to divert. You see my feelings on it. I don't know how you ever thought you was important. But anyway, but when I saw the Tiger Woods and all these women after women started coming out, and then he started losing. This is why I want to tie it to Diddy's. He started losing contracts based on his image because he had so many. He had Target, he had Tadjar watches, he had a lot, and they just didn't want to be a part of it. That was way before the fanciness of smartphones at that time. I mean, you couldn't really get the information as easily as you can now. But I recall that because they said his basement is rising, just like Diddy's is. The basement, it's in the basement where the stuff where you keep real quiet. It's starting to rise. And it was a collapsing of Tiger. His game went south. He wasn't able to win as many tournaments. He was in a divorce. Women who he was, I call expensing, they were departing. And you got to observe his life being shaken and breaking to some degree or another. And of course, gratefully, he was able to rise back and come back, rise above that and come back through. I'm not sure that Diddy will be able to do this, but I'm using that as an example of the lawsuit with Diageo and CIROC. The image was what's important. And then the breaking with Tiger Woods and his wife, the image was what's important. And these companies had to move themselves away from the person, despite how popular the person was at the time, because the image of the product surpasses everything. And that's what's going on. So this one thing we know, probably an unspoken knowing, but we know it, and that is liquor sales have always been high in America. And besides gun rights, liquor laws are probably one of the most powerful ones. So to win a lawsuit in a liquor lawsuit is pretty darn big. And for him to have done that, he had to really peeve them off. Now, these are all my opinions. But the bottom line is he did win that lawsuit. He did get what I call the upper hand. And ironically, he's in the situation he is in because you spill the beans thereafter. And I think this is what helped a lot that was not coming forth or being as forthright before come out now so easily. Because again, when you have that kind of power, you're able to quiet and silence. The settlement is a silencer. That's why I've said many times in many past videos, you don't make change with the silencer, a settlement. You don't make change. What you do is you fix that situation with that one person, but you allow them to continue doing the things they did. They go back to their boardrooms or find out how to tighten that hole that won't happen again the next time. It just gets harder for the next time. But you don't fix, you don't change. You don't make the change that I'm always seeking for the collective. I seek change for the collective. I'll put it that way. Okay. If you've gotten this far, please click like, click subscribe. Give me your views and your opinion. Isn't it something about the timing of it all? Have a wonderful day and I'll see you next time. Bye. Click like.